Hello everyone, this is Angel Berniz at projectmanagers.org Expert Talk. Today we're going to have a special program on personal branding. I have a guest that it's an expert on personal brand. He's Miguel Riesgo. How are you doing?
Thank you very much, Angel, for telling me, for inviting me to this great interview with you. Very well, I'm fine, thank you, and I'm able to speak with you in the next 15 or 20 minutes in order to explain as best as possible our idea about personal branding.
Okay, thank you. Let's move to the first question. Why do we need to work our personal with employment?
Well, as you know, in all the world and specifically here in Spain, there are big problems about the unemployment rate. As you know, the unemployment rate here in Spain is about 26%, even more than that. So there is a big problem currently in Spain, and the problem it seems like it is going to be higher in the next future. So the consequence of this high problem is that there are a few jobs for many candidates seeking maybe for the same position. So they have a big problem in order to try to distinguish between the rest of the candidates. As you know, the main interface between the candidates and the recruiters is currently the CV, the curriculum vitae. So the problem for that, for those kind of candidates, is to try to be built for the recruiters, to have the opportunities to attract the attention for that recruiters in order to see their CV. So that idea is the beginning of the personal brand here in Spain currently, in order to make the necessary efforts in order to be viewed and to be considered as an option for trying to achieve a specific job. So there is a necessity for differentiating from the rest of the candidates. And as you know, there are new times and of course new ways of seeking jobs, and the possibility for all of us, for all the candidates that are seeking for a specific job, the new technologies open a new possibility to try to distinguish from the rest of the candidates. I mean the social media and the network, internet in general.
Okay, Miguel Angel. And what inputs do we have about our personal brand?
Well, a good question. You have to know that all of us, including you and me, of course, already have a specific personal brand. Our personal brand is always there. At the moment that we, all of us, have an interaction with the rest of the people in our personal context, or even our professional context, the rest of the people have a specific perception about our way of making things. If we consider ourselves and we make the things in a professional way, for sure the rest of the people is going to have the perception that we are professionals. So the perception of the rest of the people is one of the necessary, essential input that we, all of us, have to take into account in order to know that which kind of personal brand we have. The second thing that we have to take into account is the attention. If we have the necessary attention, maybe we can have a strong personal brand. The attention, especially at these times in which we have the need of differentiate ourselves from the others, is essential. And the third input that I consider in order to know which kind of personal brand we have is our past, because our past is very important. I mean, the education that we have currently, the training that we have received in our past, our expertise in certain areas, and essentially the experience that we have achieved with in the rest of the past times. So the past is essential thing that we have to take into account in order to know which kind of personal brand do we have at the moment.
Okay, thank you. How do we work our personal brand?
Well, the way of working in the personal brand is essential, and we have to understand the concept of the footprint, or better said, the mark that we are able to let when we walk in the network, for example, in the web 2.0. I mean, the essential thing that we have to consider is that we, as a professional, have to convert our different knowledge that we have acquired in our past into contents, into the necessary contents. This content is essentially that the thing that the rest of the people is going to follow, that they can follow about us. So the first thing that we have to know in this issue is the plan. We, all of us, have to take into account which is our goal, professionally talking. I mean, which kind of professional we want to know in our future. If we want to be in the future a reference in some specific area. Essentially, the objective, the goal that we have to achieve in our future. The second thing that we have to take into account is the strategy. We have to define three essential concepts in order to implement the necessary strategy. The first concept to understand is the interaction. In this virtual work, we are talking about the network, internet. We have to interact with the rest of the people. If we are not able to interact with the rest of the people, we are not going to create a specific perception about our personal brand. The second thing is the contents. As I said before, one of the main things in creating and projecting our personal brand is the contents. So we have to convert the different knowledges that we have acquired in the time into specific contents that can be seen by the rest of the people in order to generate that perception that I'm talking you. And the third essential concept in order to understand is the attention. We have to generate the enough attention to our personal brand. If we don't have if we don't have the necessary ability to generate attention, for sure we are going to have a problem.
Okay, thank you. And the next question is what type of outputs or outcomes do we generate when we work on our personal brand for employment purposes?
Well, you have to take into account that when we talk in internet, when we send a message or when we create a specific content, the exposure of our personal brand is total. So any kind of people, whatever, is able to see you and to interpret and to judge and to have a specific perception about you. So so when we work in our personal brand, the first thing that we have to consider is the visibility. You are going to produce a specific visibility in your environment. So the second thing that is going to be the output of the personal brand is the attention. If you are able to generate the sufficient attention over your mark, you are going to have the opportunity of expressing yourself and your different contents. I mean your knowledges. And the third output that is going to occur when you work in your personal brand is the reputation. If you have done a great work over your personal brand, you have achieved the enough attention over you. Maybe if you achieve to obtain a good perception over the rest of the people, probably they are going to give you the reputation. If you have the enough reputation, for sure you are going to be one of the options that the rest of the people is going to take into account when there is different options. So this is very important for us.
Okay, and the final question is, how do we measure our progress or success on personal branding?
Well, the measurement of our personal brand is very important because we all of us have to take into account which is the step in which we are in our personal and professional project about our personal brand. So to measure our progress is essential. This is not an easy question to answer because there are two main concepts that we all of us have to take into account. One is the quantitative concept, and second is the qualitative concept. In the quantitative aspect, it is relatively easy to measure our personal brand. I mean, for example, your visibility is very easy to know and to understand because there are many tools and many applications, free applications over the internet in order to know which is your traffic, the traffic that, for example, your blog is able to receive. There are many tools that is able to know how many interactions you have with the rest of the people. And for example, it is even possible to measure your level of influence. This is a hard issue, but there are some tools like, for example, per index or even cloud that with these kind of tools you are able to know more or less which is your level of influence. Of course, that is not real, but it is possible to obtain a relative idea about your progress in this kind of issues. But the qualitative aspect is more difficult to know, because probably you have to question yourself about how many times the rest of the people is taking you into account, if they are able to recognize you, if they ask you for help, for example, or events. The comments is very important to take into account. For example, if you have created a specific professional blog and you maintain it, in the interaction with the rest of the people, when you are able to generate comments about your contents, there is a measure, a qualitative measure that you can have, that you must have into account. And I'm not talking about the number of comments, but the quality of the comments. Which kind of comments are you able to generate? If the people is asking you for help or for support, that is a very important question.
Okay, thank you very much, Miguel Angel. We have finished. Thank you very much for being here in projectmanagers.org Expert Talk, and I hope to see you again.
Thank you. It was a great pleasure to stay with you, and I hope to see you again too. Okay. Thank you, Angel.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.